Let me tell you a story how I nearly lost my pecker down the river. I was about 20 years old. My girlfriend, now my wife, at the time, we had planned a river trip. We were going to take the canoe from point A to point B down the Clinch River in Virginia. Small town from where I'm from in southwestern Virginia. Small little mountain stream. Actually, it's not that small. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 100 yards wide at the widest points at the location that we were at. But fairly fast flowing mountainous stream. Big rocks, boulders, and stuff like that. You get the idea. We're going to hop in the canoe. We were loaded up with all the supplies that we thought we needed at the time. I mean, we had some food, some freeze-dried food, freeze-dried meals. We had some basic camp equipment. I don't even know if we had life jackets at the time. I don't know if we thought we didn't need them, or, you know, just, you know, we know how to swim. We're not going to drown. That's probably our mindset. So we probably didn't even have life jackets. We had our trusty pet, Pecker, who was a wiener dog. We named him Pecker because we thought it'd be funny to have to call him and say, "Here, Pecker, come here, Pecker," when he runs away.
It was actually quite annoying at
Little
times.
wiener dog named Pecker.
And embarrassing.
But anyway, I thought it was a good name.
Jason named him.
He was my best friend. And we had him loaded up in the canoe, me, my girlfriend, and
Your little black pecker.
My little black pecker. We had it loaded up in the canoe, and we're heading downstream. This time of year was summertime, really warm outside. Bugs were bad, really, really hot and humid, and it hadn't rained much, and the water level was really low. So what ended up happening, instead of floating, we ended up dragging the canoe a lot. We were portaging and dragging this canoe across the rocks and stuff, and having to wade through the river. If you've ever done that before, you know how strenuous that can be in the ankle-breaking type conditions on the slick rocks. So that's what we were doing, and we were doing that all day long. And we thought, you know, this float trip was going to take us, let's say, 8 hours, and we had planned for that. But it ended up taking us way longer. I mean, we were 10 plus hours into this day, and the sun was going down, and we hadn't made it to our camp destination. And, you know, both sides of the riverbank are pretty steep on both sides in some places. And then if it's not really, really steep, it's heavily forested on both sides, pretty much everywhere. So it wasn't a whole lot of really good camp locations unless you planned on clearing some land on the side of the river. So we just hadn't made it. So we just kept pushing, and we kept pushing, and we kept pushing. Eventually we thought, just around the next bend. And we didn't have a map at the time. This was before we had, you know, smartphones with GPSs and all that stuff. Didn't have any of that. I was just going off memory. Like, I knew where this place was on the river. I'd been there before, and we were eventually going to get there if we just kept going downstream. You can't get lost. There's one way, you know. But we never ended up finding it. So it got dark. We were getting really, really tired, and my wife, my girlfriend at the time, was really, really tired and getting frustrated. And we got out of the canoe this one last time, and then we were having to drag it through the shallows, and then it got into this deeper spot. And as we started to get back into the canoe, we overturned the canoe in the fast-flowing water, and all of our stuff that was in the canoe started floating downstream, and we were able to retrieve some of it, but not all of it. A lot of our stuff got lost and went downstream forever, including my little dog that was swimming. We dove in after Pecker, and we saved him because we didn't want the little guy to drown downstream somewhere or get eaten by something, because he was just, you know, just a little wiener dog. But anyway, we were able to save him, and we got him up onto shore. We got up onto shore, and eventually I was able to get the canoe out of the water. But when a canoe gets overturned in a current, and it gets kind of broadside, it gets turned sideways, and the current's pushing it against like a rock or something, it becomes like 1,000,000 pounds. It's really, really difficult to dislodge it sometimes, and that was the situation here. But eventually we were able to get that canoe out of there, and we worked our way over to the bank, and we salvaged what we had. We'd lost some of our equipment, not all of our equipment, but we lost some of our equipment, a lot of our supplies, but we had the wiener dog, and we had each other, so we were okay. But the sun was going down. I don't remember what I had in my pockets. I definitely didn't have as prepared of an EDC as I do now. I may have had a lighter in my pocket, probably had a Swiss Army knife, I think is what I carried around at the time. And we probably could have got a fire going and sat around the fire all night long. But that would have been kind of lame because we were soaked and getting devoured by mosquitoes at this time. But very fortunately, by the grace of God, this couple had come down to the river, and where we'd come up, apparently there was a little trail, a little path. A couple had come down to the river, and they were going to be camping for the weekend with their friends. I don't think their friends had arrived yet, but they were there first. So anyway, we had got up there, and we looked like drowned rats, and they clearly saw that we were in a bad spot, and they asked us if we needed any help, and we said, well, you know, it'd be nice if we could call somebody and get a ride out of here. So what they did was I think they had some towels, they dried us off, we hopped in the back of their truck, we loaded up our canoe. Before we had cell phones, all that stuff. And the cell phones were around, but we didn't have any cell phones with us, for sure. I wouldn't have taken a cell phone on this river trip unless I'd had it. I definitely wouldn't have had a cell phone. I don't think I even had a cell phone at this time. But anyway, this couple, really nice couple, drove us all the way out of there on this twisty, windy little path, back up to the road, and then eventually to their house, where I think they gave us some dry clothes, if I remember right. They offered to feed us. They offered us, I think it was a bologna sandwich. Like, if it was a fried bologna sandwich, I think I would have taken them up on it, but it wasn't. And but they gave a bologna sandwich to my dog Pecker, and he gladly ate it. Of course he ate it. We were able to call, use their phone and call for help, and we were able to get a family member to come pick us up.
So they were so sweet because they were clearly a very poor couple. This is a very poor area. This just shows the amazing selfless nature of people.
They gave up a fun weekend of camping on the river to help us out. And I thought that was a pretty amazing thing, a pretty selfless thing to do. And you could tell how happy they were to help. Yeah. They were just like eager to help, and that's something that has always stuck with me too. Mm-hmm. I always remember that, and that's one of the, maybe not the only reason, but one reason why I'm more motivated, more encouraged to help people as much as I can. I love helping people out. Like when someone has a flat tire on the side of the road, I'm like, yes, like yes, we can fix somebody's flat tire. You know, like one of my last trips down to Florida, we were driving up, and I saw this guy stuck down. He was on the 4-lane highway on the interstate. He was way down on the bank, down on the side of the road before you get to the tree line. And there was all this fresh mulch. They had just cleared a whole bunch of the trees and stuff, and they had put it through the chipper, and all this really fresh mulch and really deep, thick mulch was down there. And this guy in his 2-wheel drive truck was bottomed out, just completely buried the thing to the axle. And I thought, yes! So I pull over, back up, and we were able to pull him out of there pretty easy with my truck. And, you know, it's just things like that.
And he was actually helping a disabled veteran, and he didn't have money. He came from Hurricane Helene.
And you can tell this guy didn't have a lot of money. Nope. He was in a pretty beat-up old little truck, you know. Not to judge a book by its cover, but you could tell, you know. But he had just come from helping a buddy out as well, offering his free services.
Because no one would help him locally.
Yep. Yeah, so it's things like that that are really cool. It's a good story, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. Now, as we evolve, as we grow older, and we experience new things, and we have experiences like this, we learn from them, and we change, and we prepare a little bit better. I would pack my gear a whole lot differently now. I would have a spare canoe paddle, perhaps, in case I lost one. I would pack my stuff in dry bags. I would have stuff attached to me or the boat so we didn't lose things. I would have a plan. I would have a better plan as opposed to what I was just winging it. I still wing it a lot, and I really enjoy that because I personally enjoy when stuff kind of goes sideways and things go wrong, and I like having to solve the problems, and that's not really that big of a deal to me. But when you have other people with you that are counting on you to get the job done, that's when it matters a whole lot more. We've learned from our experiences, and we've taken them, and we've moved on, and we've gotten better. We've gotten more prepared because of those experiences. Hope you've enjoyed my story, guys. Please hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're doing Patreon memberships, so if you want to see some behind-the-scenes stuff, if you want to see unlisted videos that you can't see anywhere else, then check the link in the description to Patreon, and I'll also put it in the comment section. And until next time, friends, what's the worst that could happen? You could lose your little black pecker down the river. See you next time.
If you carry a firearm and discharge your weapon in self-defense, you could face hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and expenses. So carry the protection of CCW Safe, Self-Defense Legal Services membership. Upfront payment of all criminal and civil defense costs with no out-of-pocket for members. Unlimited defense budgets, unmatched legal expertise. Carry the same level of support police officers have. Carry CCW Safe, the highest caliber.